You know that feeling of being caged, even when there are no actual bars around you? Today, we're going to dive into a short but, man, incredibly powerful poem by Leslie Norris called A Tiger in the Zoo that totally nails that feeling. Let's get right into it. Seriously, have you ever felt completely and utterly trapped? Maybe you're stuck in a super boring class or at a family thing you just can't get out of. It's that feeling, right? Of being stuck, of not being able to be your true self. Well, that is exactly what we're exploring today. And that feeling of being trapped? The tiger in this poem knows it all too well. We're about to step right into its cage for a few minutes and see the world through its eyes, all thanks to the powerful words of Leslie Norris. Okay, so our journey starts in what is, let's be honest, the most unnatural place you could find a king of the jungle, a zoo. We're about to get a first-hand look at the harsh reality of a life lived behind bars. I mean, just feel the powerful contrast in those lines. Vivid stripes, a symbol of wild beauty and immense power, crammed into just a few steps. It's kind of like a superhero being forced to live in a tiny closet. All that amazing power, all that majesty, just squeezed into a space that's way too small. The poem also says he moves on pads of velvet quiet. Think about that for a second. Tigers are built to be silent, stealthy hunters. That's their thing. But here in a cage, that incredible skill is completely and totally useless. It's like having a superpower you're never, ever allowed to use. In this line, wow, this is where we really understand the tiger's true feelings. He's not just sad, he is angry, but it's a quiet rage. See, he can't roar or lash out, so all that frustration just gets bottled up inside. It's a silent, helpless kind of anger, and that might just be the most powerful emotion in this entire poem. So now, the poet does something really cool. He kind of teleports us. We're zapped from the bleak, sad reality of the zoo straight into the vibrant, wild jungle. You know, the place where this tiger actually belongs. Just listen to those words. Lurking, sliding. They make the tiger sound so graceful and so powerful. They paint this perfect picture of a creature that is completely at home in the wild. This is the tiger in its element, living the life it was absolutely born for. See, out here, the tiger has a purpose. It's not just a pretty animal for people to look at. Nope, it's a vital part of the entire ecosystem. It's a hunter, a survivor, a king. In the zoo, it's just an attraction, but in the jungle, it's a true force of nature. So we've got these two completely different images of the same tiger, right? One is this ghost of its former self, just a shadow in a cage. The other is a magnificent predator, a real king. Let's put them side by side to really feel the impact of that difference. And look at this direct comparison. In the zoo, all that power is useless. He has strength behind bars, and he just straight up ignores the people staring at him. But in the jungle, whoa, he'd be terrorizing the village, showing off his white fangs and his claws. It's the difference between being a powerless spectacle and a terrifying force of nature. So how does the poet make us feel all of this so strongly? He uses a really cool literary device called personification. Basically, by giving the tiger human-like feelings, like rage and longing, he closes the gap between us and the animal. Suddenly, we're not just looking at a tiger, we're feeling with the tiger. So the day ends, the crowds finally leave, and the zoo falls silent. And it's in this darkness that we're left with one final haunting image of our tiger. This is where the poem's message really hits home. Even in the dead of night, the tiger can't escape its prison. The sounds of the jungle are totally replaced by the sounds of the human world, a constant reminder that he's trapped. Those patrolling cars are basically the footsteps of his jailers, a never-ending surveillance. This final image is just beautiful, and so sad. Why the stars? Well, they represent this vast, open, free world that he can see but can never, ever reach. His brilliant eyes are looking up at the brilliant stars, and it feels like this one last, silent plea for the freedom he's lost. So, we've walked in the tiger's footsteps, we've felt its quiet rage, and we've dreamed its jungle dreams. But what does it all really mean? Why does this poem still hit so hard today? Let's unpack the big ideas here. At the end of the day, this poem is about so much more than just a tiger. It's about that classic struggle between freedom and being caged. It's about the power of nature, that suppressed anger we talked about, and that feeling of loss and longing. And maybe most importantly, it's about the impact we humans have on the animal world. And here's the most important takeaway. You can replace the tiger with anything or anyone that feels trapped.
This poem is really a big metaphor for any wild, free spirit that's been confined, and not just by bars, but maybe by rules or expectations or anything else that holds you back.